Can I ask, at what stage are discussions about mutual aid from other police forces in the event of a no-deal Brexit?
If I start, or do you want to start, Stephen?
Yeah, well, the mutual aid arrangements are part of the national police contingency plans. We have had access to those for quite some number of years, and in fact drew down on mutual aid for public order assistance in 2013 was the last occasion, but since 2013 we have had those arrangements in place principally for each summer period, for the parading period in Northern Ireland, but thankfully haven't had recourse to them, need to have recourse to them. Because of the uncertainty associated with the exit from the European Union, we have sought to extend those mutual aid arrangements for over the summer, but beyond this year, and to have that contingency available to us in the event that we had, for example, civil unrest or disorder as a consequence of the European Union exit. So those arrangements are well in place. It's done through the national coordinating mechanisms, and we have the capacity to bring in up to 14 public order support units from Great Britain at a time for a week's rotation, and they would be replaced as one batch of 14 would leave, another batch of 14 would come in, and we've certainly that arrangement in place for a period of some months. But it is our earnest hope that we do not need to draw down on that mutual aid, and we would only seek to use it in extreme circumstances where what we were facing was beyond our ability to manage within the PSNI resources.
And as the second biggest force in the country, what proportion of that would you envisage coming from Police Scotland?
That I know there's been public commentary recently from within Police Scotland. It is national arrangements, and I know that some of the assistance that is being put on contingency does come from Police Scotland, and some comes from other services within the England and Wales. As to what we receive is really down to the national coordinating arrangements. It would not be for us to say we want Police Scotland officers over English officers or Welsh officers. That would be, we'd be quite happy to have the mutual aid in those circumstances where it was required and we believed it was necessary. But it would be completely down to the national coordinating arrangements as to who we got. But I am aware that there certainly is a likelihood that if we need it, and we call upon it, that certainly some of those officers will come from Police Scotland.
And how do you respond to the concerns raised by Callum Steele, the General Secretary of the Scottish Police Federation, about his worries over the safety of Scottish officers if they do go over there?
Well, I would seek to, I understand those concerns, first of all, and I would have empathy with them, but I would also seek to reassure them that the planning is in place, that the logistics are in place, that we would look after the hygiene factors first of all of his officers. They would be well accommodated, they would be well looked after. We would ensure that we would have local liaison officers accompanying them on their deployments, and it would not be our intention to deploy them on the border, but to, I suppose, deploy them in other areas to allow us perhaps to release some of our officers to augment the border area.
Backfilling, if your officers move to the border to backfill the duties they will be doing.
Or to seats of disorder, which I think...
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't hear that, Mr May.
It could be that they move not to the border but to seats of disorder where the disorder is taking place.
But it would be our intention not to place them in the border areas. Mm-hmm. It would be out with the border. But certainly they are public order resources, so if we are seeking them, it is certainly conceivable that they would be deployed to the potential disorder situations.
How different, if at all, are the training techniques and the operations PSNI use for public order compared to Police Scotland, the Met, or any of the other forces?
There are variations, but I can assure you that the units that are trained to come to Northern Ireland have all been trained to a consistent set of methodology, and those issues have been addressed in the training and preparation.
And At what stage do you make the decision? Obviously, it's difficult to anticipate what happens, but it's also difficult at the click of a finger to get 14 units across, etc., and then start the week's rotation. When would you envisage, if it looks like the country is going to leave without a deal on the 31st of October, that the calls for these deployments from Police Scotland, the Met and others would be made?
Well, we would seek to absorb a certain amount of pressure, first of all. But is it conceivable that there was a very strong and credible intelligence base that looked that very extensive disorder was to occur, that was going to be out with our immediate ability to cope without mutual aid, that we would seek the mutual aid in anticipation of that? Yes, that is conceivable. I think it's more likely that we would be experiencing disorder for a period of time and come to a view that actually we need the assistance, because you're quite right that it does take a number of days. It's not like pressing a button and they're there the next day. It takes a number of days for that to be mobilised in the first instance and come over. Once it starts, the rotations will happen in a seamless way, but that first period when we seek it, it does take a number of days. So it is conceivable that we would do it in anticipation, but I will say again, we do see it as a measure to be used in extreme circumstances, and that would be a commitment that we've made to the national coordinating arrangements.